I'll ask two questions. One goes to the opposition member of parliament. You were saying that opposition in 2020 was saying go to IMF, go to IMF, go to IMF. But when you were in government, didn't you have the analysis to show that we are sitting on an unsustainable mountain of debt a few months before, maybe a year before? When you borrowed, two questions, when the government borrowed heavily, the unprecedented amount of borrowings that you all did showed the debt is unsustainable. The money that you are taking is merely adequate to repay interest. So wasn't there any contingency plan to reach out to IMF at that time? Why somebody would wait until just the day government changes and shouting at the highest voice in the parliament, I told you to go to IMF? That's my first question.
Sir, by the way, I have a name. My name is Harsha. First thing is, departed Mangala Samaravira did a lot to fix the problem. There was a medium-term debt management strategy that was passed in 2018. Unfortunately, on the coup on 28th of October, that got thrown away. If we actually followed the MDTS, we would not have fallen into this mess. Even on the second week of November, IMF did a study and said the debt was still sustainable. Unfortunately, Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa's advisors got him to change the taxes, and then we saw what happened. But prior to that, Mr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, Dr. Kumaraswamy, was he is a respectable, responsible man. When he came to office, or when he took over, when 2015 happened, there was total, if I remember right, $8.2 billion in foreign reserves. Of that $8.2 billion, $3.5 billion consisted of hot money. That was foreigners brought in dollars, converted to rupees, invested in treasury bills, they could take it back anytime. Another 2.5 odd billion were short-term swaps. So these were short-term money that needed to have been made longer term. So one of the reasons why those international sovereign bonds were brought in at that time was to sustain the reserves that we had. Because by the time the 2019 government came to office, I believe there was about $7.6 billion in reserves. And in that 7.6 billion, short-term swaps and hot money accounted for less than $600 million. And also note that Verite Research had done some work that the money that was borrowed between 2015 and 2019, 89.8% of that money was to pay interest on borrowings prior to 2015. And also note, in the year 2019, there was about $5 billion that needed to have been repaid. And in that $5 billion was 1.5 or 7 billion in ISB payments also. And also note, I asked Dr. V. Kumaraswamy, Indrajit, why are you trying to borrow another $2.8 billion? He told me, Harsha, this is an election year. You don't know what will happen. Remember last time what happened in 2018, right? We were in an IMF program. So, Harshana, we were in an IMF program, right? The Gotabaya Rajapaksa government threw it away, not us. And then he said October 2018 was a problem because money flew out. We got downgraded. And we couldn't pay the 500 million in January of 2019. I myself, with Mangal and Indrajit, met the head of the IMF. In her room, we explained what had happened, and we adjusted the program slightly so that we could deal with this issue. So we knew the problem was there. It was not a problem created overnight. The issue is, and continues to be, that we are not focusing on tradable growth. And unless we are able to get our growth coming from the tradable sector, mainly exports, and internationally competitive import substitution, we are never going to be able to fix this problem. So therefore, we know what the problem is. I mean, I'm not going to throw mud at anyone. I didn't thus far, and I don't intend to do it now. But, people did attempt to do the right thing, and it's unfortunate that our people didn't understand the gravity of the problem and went for false promises and elected that government. I hope it doesn't happen again.
Other Derana Business YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Other Derana Business YouTube channel for the latest and most insightful business news.